Hi everyone, it's Jessica. It's Tuesday and I would like to share another great topic for our spiritual check-in. Let's talk turning to self or the world versus turning to the Lord. In 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 7 to 18, the author is Paul, and he's writing about a veil, something from the days of Moses, but using it in his time as a visual as he writes his letter to the Corinthians. The veil hinders our vision, keeps us separated from God. And this veil is what has us sometimes trusting in other things but the Lord, because we can't see God clearly. We don't understand. And while I wish I could go through all of the verses, I will just read the last three. 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 16 to 18. And I'm going to be reading from the New Living Translation, okay? And so Paul says, "But whenever someone turns to the Lord, the veil is taken away. For the Lord is a spirit, and wherever the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom." So all of us who have had that veil removed can see and reflect the glory of the Lord. And the Lord, who is the Spirit, makes us more and more like Him as we are changed into His glorious image. So what does turning to ourselves in the world get us? I can tell you it gets us some confusion, uncertainty, you have some anger, sadness, and actually sometimes we can find happiness, but it can be really fleeting. And what are we turning into? Are we turning into happy, joyous people ready to encourage one another and love one another, teach and learn from one another? We find temporary fill in the blank, which leaves us chasing the next high and feel good thing. So we end up becoming a slave to our emotions, a slave to tasks and things that make us feel worthwhile and accomplished, validated. In this, we are not free because it becomes something that we start to make a necessity to live and get by. The Lord is asking us to turn to Him, something eternal, not temporary, full of love, joy, kindness, peace. And I tell you, who couldn't use a little bit more peace, right? Where there is grace and there is mercy, and He has already validated us. In Him, there is, as it says here, in this word here, freedom. And we don't have to chase the temporary things of this world. Paul says, by turning to the Lord, a veil will be lifted from our eyes so we can see and be changed into His image, the person that He originally designed us to be. And that means that we're going to be able to reflect God wherever we go because He's our creator. If anyone ever remembers getting their first pair of glasses, how much of a game changer it was. You could see so much clearer. You could see all the details you were missing before. Or, as I've seen on social media, these stories where people have received special glasses to see color. I don't know what it's like to live in a monochromatic world or not be able to pick out certain colors that are, really just mind-blowing. But just think of the difference that one thing made in their world, or your world if you identify with those stories and these examples. It's a huge impact and a game changer. And I'm sure you don't want to go back and not be able to understand what you couldn't see before. Your life is so much better now, right? So that's an example that I'm using for this. And if you find Christianity or developing your spiritual life hard to understand, remember that turning to the Lord is what lifts the veil and brings sight where you cannot previously see, understanding and genuine freedom. I would like to encourage you to please read 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 7 to 18, so you can get more explanation and understanding because I only read verses 16 to 18. And remember to truly see and be free. Turn to the Lord, not ourselves or the world. This has been a spiritual check-in via a good word. Until next time.